What if I told you this was good for Bitcoin? Don't you dare even try and make that argument, Cameron. I can already feel some of you saying, how on earth is Bitcoin crashing good? You're an idiot. Listen, if you don't think there's any benefit to a Bitcoin crash, then I challenge you right here and now to watch this entire video and then ask yourself if you still think the same. If you do, you may unsubscribe. That's a joke. In this video, I will share with you what you need to know about this sell-off, what led to it, where support levels are, absolute worst case scenario, and why ultimately, despite it being a meme, I can make a very compelling case that this is very good for Bitcoin. There's an absolute disbelief at the audacity I am showing today. So, what do we need to know about this Bitcoin dip? First, let's look at the Fibonacci levels we drew in the last video. 1.4 did prove to be resistance almost exactly. 1.2 almost support exactly for the majority of trading, at least so far today. Hashtag God is a pro traitor? But it is shocking that Bitcoin fell down from 1.4 to 1.2 and even wicked below it in almost a single day.
In a day.
In fact, it took the 21-day moving average, a historically consistent indicator of support or resistance, to stop the carnage. How did this happen? When I tell you what it took to get Bitcoin to wick below 1.2, it actually paints quite the bullish picture. It took so much to make this happen. Today was the second highest day of liquidations in the entire history of Bitcoin. It took the global market crash of March 2020 to beat today. That's insane. That translates to 306,000 traders having their positions forcefully sold, equaling $3 billion worth of Bitcoin being directly sold on the open market in a non-stop cascading fashion. If you wanted to be really mean to Bitcoin, this is how you would do it. It could not have been more brutal.
Chase me, Susie! Chase me!
Good. Let's not forget, in the grand scheme of things, we're at price levels seen last week. Within that context, the resilience of Bitcoin is clear and hardly the end of the world. What led to this occurring? That's an interesting story. Most popular take is the DXY is to blame, and not without good reason. Bitcoin's big drop again coincides with dollar bounce in forex markets. From our main man, Omkar Godbol. I remember this guy used to do TA back in 2018, and it would always say, I own no crypto, and I felt bad for him every time. Anyway, like clockwork, every time something positive happens for one, something negative happens for the other. The DXY just had an uptick the same moment Bitcoin had a downtick. Very suspicious. It's not enough data to confidently say that one definitely caused the other, but so far the correlation is strong. But what if I told you this was planned a long time ago? Taking this popular theory one step further here, how exactly does the DXY going up or down affect Bitcoin this much? It doesn't make too much fundamental sense. But as we know, institutions have been accumulating a lot of Bitcoin. Their main gripe, their main headache, cash isn't the issue like it is with retail, it's the slippage. Their position size makes it too difficult to accumulate massive amounts without pushing the Bitcoin price up too high. Much like farmers in a drought, they were no doubt praying for a liquidity event like today, where they can buy effectively and get a good price for it too. But in order to trigger it, counterintuitively, they would need to sell a lot of their Bitcoin, causing the price to fall, which would cause retail to panic dump their coins, as well as triggering people's liquidations, which forces them to sell also, which, when all combined, leads to price falling much further and much quicker than institutions and/or whales could have done alone. The DXY rallying was the perfect, no argument, green signal for massive Bitcoin holders to trigger such an event. Do I think that's what actually happened? The thing is, at this point, all it could have taken was someone just looking at Bitcoin in the wrong way to trigger a pullback. The proverbial feather that broke the camel's back, if you will. It did not need institutions acting together for this to occur. But what I will say is, if this isn't what happened, it's an opportunity missed, because it was a very smart idea. They really should hire me. I think you're going to change your mind about all this, you know. Excuse me? I give it 4 years, tops.
Well, yeah, but by then we'll own lots of it for cheap.
What if I told you this was good for Bitcoin? Morpheus, you're so base, it's ridiculous. But here's why he may have a point. If the DXY was the trigger, then we definitely have things to look forward to. Joe Biden will no doubt push for the maximum stimulus possible for as soon as possible, so the debasement of the USD may continue. And if the correlation continues, then this is good for Bitcoin. But in addition to that, pullbacks have perhaps unintended but hugely positive benefits. Consider what happens when you sell. Someone on the opposite end of that trade bought. Money moves from weaker hands to stronger hands, or in other words, what was once your resistance level becomes their support. What if I told you in the 2-year bull market of 2016/17, there were no less than 5 times Bitcoin pulled back between 30 and 40%. It makes the current 28% or so, 30, look a little small. But what if I told you what also occurs after these pullbacks is a tremendously strong support level? To show this, check out these horizontal lines. I didn't mean to sound so excited, but it's kind of cool.
Then check this out.
Let's take one of the last steep pullbacks in 2017 before the peak, about $8,000, boom. This was a historical and important resistance support level for years. What about the second one? Multi-year support/resistance. Okay, what about this one? Predicting the bottom of the 2018 bear market back in 2017. Interesting. In order to describe this, I would say it's like claiming progress. Or if you're playing a video game, it would be like saving. This is exactly why pullbacks in bull markets are not only healthy, but essential and aids the long-term upward trend and to reduce the impact of a bubble pop. No pain, no gain. So do you still think that all pullbacks are bad for Bitcoin? I mean, yeah, you could make the argument, no, only up. But the meme is strong. Nothing is black and white in life, only shades of orange, I've found. But what if I told you? Shut up, Morpheus. But let's assume, for a moment, there is another sell-off. I doubt it, but anything is possible. Where is the absolute bottom? We're at support levels now. That's what you need to know. If I had fiat left, personally, I would be very interested in buying right now. But if these levels go, 20K looks like a brick wall of support. I would be honestly amazed if we get that low, but this is a worst case scenario thought experiment. This price level has strong horizontal support, as well as probably the most important moving average in Bitcoin, the one that supported Bitcoin's run of 2017, the 21-week moving average. Just so happens to also be at those levels. I think too many traders see that as being the case and would just be itching to buy Bitcoin if it even gets close to that. So 27K, 25K are far more likely levels of support, in my unprofessional, unaccredited opinion. Anyway, that is what you need to know about Bitcoin right now. Let me know what you think about the market. Thank you for watching. See you again soon. But what if I told you you should subscribe? But what if I told you? But what if I told you you should subscribe? Don't put this in the video. But what if I told you you should subscribe? There we go, use that one. Don't know who I'm talking to. I do the editing on these videos. But why should we trust the Fibonacci tool? Well, I asked God this question and he said, bro, I created this number sequence, right? And I put it in everything, like literally everything. In space, in flowers, in Trump's hairline, in an egg. So why not in TA? Anyway,